Hello, for those of you just joining, we'll be starting soon at noontime. Welcome.
It is 12 o'clock, but let's wait a few more moments. I know Laura has a lot of information to share, but we want to make sure that we start with everybody here. Laura, you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, yes, participants?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Why don't we go ahead and start, Amy, and they can
Okay,
jump in.
okay. All right. So I want to welcome everybody to part 4 of our series on a look at artificial intelligence's legal revolution. My name is Amy Levine. I'm the Director of Programs and Volunteers here at Lawyers Concerned for Lawyers, and I will be your host today. Today's webinar is AI Applications for the Legal Community, presented by Laura Keeler. She is a graduate of Middlebury College and is LCL's Law Practice Technology Specialist. Prior to LCL, Laura worked at the Department of Justice in DC and worked as a paralegal at a variety of private law firms. She also writes articles and speaks on topics relevant to practice management, and I encourage all of you to read her full bio on our website. And if you're joining us for the first time, Lawyers Concerned for Lawyers offers consultations on mental health and substance use disorders, educational programming, support groups, and law practice management for the Massachusetts legal community. Our services are confidential and free. And at the end of her presentation, Laura will be answering questions. So please use either the chat or the Q&A functions. And without further ado, here is Laura.
Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to have you here as part of the AI series. As Amy said, we are on part 4. Hooray! Amy mentioned about me. I work for LCL. I have a background in practice management and legal tech. Also vice chair for Mass Bar, so low small firm practice management section. Today's roadmap, we're going to have a little reminder of why the legal industry is in this period of a little bit of refresher framework in case it's been a while for you since parts 1 through 3 on about the context of AI. Then most of today, we're going to be looking at product examples for AI applications specific to the legal community. And at the end, we welcome questions. So as she noted, please put them in the chat and the Q&A as you have them. So first of all, it's important to remember why legal professionals need to take heed of AI and emerging technologies. People such as Bill Gates have called this akin to a revolution on the scale of the internet and the printing press. This is affecting all industries. Legal is said to be one of the industries that will be most impacted. The scale is going to be such that they anticipate 90% of content on the internet will be AI generated within a few years. So this is, even though we're in the early stages, this is a period of rapid change. And by doing programs like today, where you're learning about these AI tools, you're going to be better prepared going forward. We want to note that emerging tech really enhances law practice. It augments the lawyer capabilities. It is not meant to replace them. It is noted by a number of law school deans and lawyer futurists that lawyers and law practices that embrace AI and other emerging tech will have a competitive advantage over those who do not. There are a number of sample uses, which we'll go over more. Some of these roles include summarizing information, preparing first drafts of correspondence, being able to question your data sets, such as your practice management systems. You can fast retrieve information. We know that lawyers spend on average 2 hours a day just looking for information, according to the Clio Trends report. And it will also help you automate routine marketing and admin processes. So this is really going to help you save time, and it's meant to really augment the lawyer functionalities, not replace it. There are a number of roles that generative AI can play, and this is ever expanding as AI grows. A lot of the roles typically are one of these ones. It will help you generate new ideas. Remember, the generative part of AI is that it is creative, it's predictive, so it can give you idea generation. It can be a coach as you're wanting to learn how to do something or looking for ideas on a framework. It can help you summarize, which is especially helpful for long documents, or as we'll see later today, if you're going through depositions and you're trying to think, okay, I want a summary of this very long document. It can help you change the tone or the reading level of writing. We know that a lot of clients struggle with legalese. And for those clients particularly, but all of your clients too, you want to make sure that it's in a way when you can have mutual understanding, where the client can understand what's going on. So if you need to make the tone more professional for an opposing counsel, if you wrote a first draft when you were perhaps a little bit upset, or if you want to, gear it down for more plain language and a lower reading level, you can do that. AI will help you with tone, style, and level. These capabilities are ever expanding, but again, coach, idea generator, summarizer, and changing the tone are things that are very popular. A new one too came out, I saw just yesterday for one of these tools, is that can also help you translate language, which can be very helpful too for a number of clients. I want to note that although, as we discussed in part one, demystifying AI, that while generative AI did pass the bar exam, it does not mean that this technology does not need supervision. You want to think of it like a green summer intern. It can draft this correspondence, it can perform these summaries, but you want to verify the results and confirm that the product is accurate. And you want to make sure that you're using the right tool for the job. In part three of this series, we talked about prompt writing, or sorry, this was part two, prompt writing, and about how to learn to use generative AI. We learned that prompt engineering is essentially writing very detailed, specific prompts for the output that you want. So you can write in full sentences and questions. You can iterate to tweak and redo the prompts until you're seeking what it's looking for. You can also use natural language processing, which is very helpful as this makes it more user-friendly, but you want to give it enough context, and intent for the AI to know what you are seeking. As we're thinking about ethics, which was part three of this series, we want to think about client confidentiality. So remember that there's a difference between open systems and closed systems, with closed systems having more security for confidential information. And we also talked about the risks of hallucinations. And a way to limit those risks is with retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, where you can link to external source documents for accuracy, and that helps you verify the information. A little asterisk that again, you don't want to put confidential information into these systems unless you know it's a closed system and you know that the tool is not training on your data. Given that background for context, let's look at the applications of some emerging technologies in legal. There are a lot of them. So there are so many practical AI applications, and this is just the stage where we are today. This is expanding every week and every month. So some of these, before we look at particular tools, let's look at some of the things it can do. So it's great at summarization, whether you have long documents, whether you have meeting minutes, anything that's a long document that you would like summarized, AI is great at giving you bullet points. You just have to give the context of what you want. So for example, give me the top 3 takeaways from this. Or in this deposition, if Joe Smith was doing this, summarize about the parts of the traffic accident, whatever it is you're looking for. It helps you be far faster with research capabilities. As we'll look in the category for legal research, it's really expanding into knowledge management and helping you with litigation and tools at large. It can help you with chronologies and all generating chronologies and timelines, which I used to do that at the DOJ. It took an awfully long time. To have a tool to have you give a first pass is going to be so helpful. For legal research, it can also help with everything from case histories to it can give claims analysis. So you can upload documents and it can find claims, it can find defenses, counterclaims. It's very good at finding those for these more advanced tools. It can help with document review and analysis, both your own documents and ones that you upload to it. If you want to analyze contracts, maybe you're looking for redline, maybe you're looking for clauses that are, more favorable to one side or the other. It can help with analyzing those contracts. AI, another area that it's expanding into is predictive analytics. This is about judges, about your own firm. If you want to look, for example, about which of your practice areas are having the most return on investment, you can do analytics of your own dashboard and reports. It helps you if you want to forecast case outcomes based on historical data, give you some statistical analysis for that. A key one that a lot of people is using it for is for drafting and reviewing documents. Again, this is not meant to be the final pass, but for an initial draft, this can be very helpful, particularly if you're one of those lawyers that has writer's block, which a number of people do. I've heard of people using AI for things such as, oh goodness, I have trial the next day. I forgot to draft an opening statement, and they can ask the AI, give me some ideas for a 5-minute opening statement on a case of this type, just to get you started, to get the ball rolling so you don't have that blank page problem. AI can also help you with proofreading legal documents. It can help you with site checking, editing. As we talked about, this can give you ideas for generating whether marketing posts, titles, topics. I know an attorney who's used it for ideas for voir dire questions, and you can change the tone and reading level. So this is a overview of some of the general applications of how legal professionals can use it. And now we're going to look at specific tools in various categories. I want to note that LCL is independent. We are not endorsing any of these tools. This is not an exhaustive list, but these are ones that I want to share highlights as these are, on the leading edge. Some of them are becoming industry leaders. And so I want you to learn about them and have this on your radar. If you have questions, again, you can come to people like me with an LCL and we can do free consults for you. So the first category of AI applications for legal we're going to talk about is AI within law practice management systems. This is a very fast growing segment. Practice management systems are adding in AI. There are few that are out to market. In fact, some of these had information coming just within the last 2 weeks. So we'll look at those in a moment. As we look first in general, what can legal specific AI do within practice management systems? From what we've heard from a lot of the systems that have products in beta, the functionalities are often going to include the ability to query information. So, what was the name of the arresting officer? What was the name of the children? When did the children turn 18? Any questions you have about the matter itself. You might want to query, your calendar, your deadline, such as, I have this meeting on my calendar with um, Ruby Snow, and what matter is she connected with again? It can help you with initial drafting, with document automation, summarizing, and more. So those are some of the general functionalities within practice management systems. Some firms are going for custom LLMs for legal. These are usually ones that have more specific needs, sometimes are larger firms, but just to note, if you are not finding a system that is built for your needs that is on the market, you can also use a tool such as a custom LLM for legal and build your own system. Now, we're going to be looking first at the example of Clio Duo. So this was just featured as coming out this month. It's very exciting. If you aren't aware, Clio is a law practice management system. They have Clio Grow, which is their CRM or client relationship management system, and they have Clio Manage, which manages the matters and cases. They have a new AI tool called Clio Duo. Now, as we're thinking about confidentiality, this is a closed system. This is one of the benefits of having these AIs within your law practice management system, is that you own your data and there's no outside tool training on it. So it's not like a chat GPT. What are some things that Clio Duo can do? Well, as we saw in the last slide for what are some of the things practice management system AI can do, it's great at accessing and summarizing information on your cases. You can ask questions. So you can find instant answers within the case data living in your Clio managed system. This is a note you can't, it is part of the whole. So you would already have to be using Clio Manage, and you would have to be using Clio Manage effectively, such that you actually upload your documents and your contacts and everything there. And that way, when the system goes to query it, it can find it. If you are, for instance, keeping all of your contacts only look, you're not having them in your practice management system, if you're not uploading your documents to your practice management system, they won't be there for this to query. So that is very important that you want to think about effectively using your tools. And this AI Matter Assistant is really going to help you use your practice management systems more fully. You can also do things such as helping you question your calendar for priorities for the week ahead, such as, which matters should I focus on this week? I've seen sample demos where it says, okay, these 11 matters have tasks coming up for this week. So those are some of the functionalities. Let's look at a couple of screenshots. This is again Clio Duo, which is the AI assistant for the law practice management system of Clio Manage. And this is just an idea of what it can do. So one of the functionalities is it can help you delegate drafting of tasks and more. So as we see from the screenshot, the searcher asked Duo to create certain tasks. So it asked for a draft review of the settlement offer. You can ask Clio Duo to do this, and then you can keep working and come back and then review the document afterwards. As seen, it's great if you want to limit task switching because you can really focus on your priorities and have Duo as that matter assistant. Another way that Clio Duo can help is as a tool for writer's block. This is not unique for AI within practice management systems. We'll see this is across many categories, but it's something that can be very helpful. So let's say that you're writing back and forth with your client. You have the standard response of, please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. And then your client writes back, says they'd like to schedule a meeting. You can have Clio Duo do things such as suggest an initial response. It can look at your calendar, say, okay, 10 a.m. tomorrow would be free. It can have the suggested response. You have the ability to edit it before you send it, but it gives you a starting point, particularly if you've maybe just finished trial, if you've just finished a deposition, if you've had a really long day. The drafting point gives you a starting point, which helps lawyers, many of whom will have writer's block when they start getting tired. So it helps you with finding the words. In looking at another practice management tool, we have Smokeball. Smokeball also has a CRM and matter management within it. It has the time tracking and billing. It's sort of an all-in-one system. Well, they have recently added a new AI tool, which is called Archie, and Archie is very exciting as well. So this can summarize either your matters, which is your case matters, or your documents, and they have links to the documents for more detail. This goes back to when we were talking about the ethics and confidentiality. This uses RAG to pinpoint the document it's coming from. So it's easier to verify, and there's less risk of hallucinations. So in this example, the lawyer asked to provide a summary of the complaint. And Archie, which is connected to Smokeball's matter management, draws on information from within that to say, okay, the complaint involves a civil lawsuit between, and it names the parties, it gives you the incident details. So having a simple sentence, such as asking for a summary of the complaint, you can really get a great summary of the matter. You can also have great summaries of the documents. So Archie has a number of tools in looking at these two functionalities specifically. For its Matter Assistant, it can draft correspondence, such as similar to what we saw here with Clio Duo, that if you have the client writes to you, it can suggest responses which you can edit to send back to the clients. It can summarize the matters quickly, and it gives secure answers to your questions because it's within that closed system where it's just your data, nobody else is training on it. It can also help you reviewing documents, whether that's a single document, whether reviewing multiple documents, looking for inconsistencies. This is a huge capability that it has. So in this example from Archie, we can see that the person is asking for facts within a particular document. So here they're asking about the details of the parenting plan. And then Archie, within about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, will spit out, okay, here's the details of the parenting plan, here's the consent orders, here's the parties, what specifically have they agreed to, when have they agreed to it, what are financial obligations, and so forth. Very, very helpful. The next category of tools we're going to be looking at, so that was AI within practice management. And again, Clio Duo and Archie for Smokeball are first to market, but there are a lot of these other practice management systems will be coming within the next year. This next category is we're going to be looking at legal editing, and this can help with everything from citations to litigation. So Brief Catch is one that is very exciting. This is it's very affordable for individuals and small teams. It's about $1 per day per user. This was a finalist at last year's ABA Tech Show Startup Alley. And what it does is it performs a very quality first round edit for your tools. Similar tool is SiteRight. So if you are someone that has just finds it exhausting when you're citing cases to make sure that you have it blue booked correctly, to insert the citation, to embed the hyperlinks. This AI tool can do all of that for you. It will embed the hyperlinks in. It can generate a table of authorities, which if you've done that manually, it takes a very long time. This does it in seconds. It can also hyperlink pinpoints and specific case text. This again is very affordable. For example, if you are solo, it's just $50 a month. This is going to save you a lot of administrative time, particularly if you're a lawyer, as many are, who find that they just tend to edit and edit and edit, or they spend so long in trying to make sure that they have things cited right that you can sometimes get lost in the process. These are great tools to help you stay on track and to give you great first passes for that then you can check. Another tool that is very exciting is AI for depositions is a category that is very fast expanding. So Filevine Depo Copilot is a few years ago, they probably would have called this tool magic. It can record, transcribe, and analyze deposition transcripts in real time. So if you are someone that wishes you had a second chair in your case, but you don't, this can sort of be a little stand-in to help you with having that in real-time data to capture the critical information, to identify discrepancies in witness testimony, to help you ask follow-up questions, to help you refine your questioning strategy. Because as you may know, going in for depositions, you have a list of questions, but then depending on the deponent's answers, you're going to refine your questioning strategy as it goes along. And this will help you stay on track, measuring your progress towards predefined goals for the deposition to make sure you have all the essential evidence that is captured. So this is a very exciting tool. And FileVine Depot Copilot is being joined by many more tools for AI deposition review and analysis. This just came out this month. These are some excerpts from Nikki Black, who is an esteemed legal tech journalist, in her ABA journal article. So this has some summaries of single-purpose AI tools for deposition review and analysis, which I remember too, a number of you were asking about tools for deposition review in part one of our AI series. So there are a number of tools such as Legalmation, if you want a suite of products that can automate litigation tasks, and it has a tool example such as Deposition Assistant, which again, it can have summarize and compare in real time, locating key facts, contradictions, and more. Another tool example is LexLink AI. If you want to help identify, categorize, and extract information from legal documents that you upload, such as deposition transcripts, but it could be other sorts of documents as well. This will help you with timelines, inconsistencies in testimony, and other parts of analysis. Some other tools that help for deposition review and analysis are Depo IQ. This is helpful if you have deposition videos, as more and more people are having. It can help analyze them for contradictions, inconsistencies. You can create summaries, you can query documents. There's Automized Cicero, which is, again, these are tools designed for legal professionals, which generally have better security than general tools, especially open system tools. Can be used with many types of documents for review and analysis, including deposition transcripts. And its functionalities include areas like document summarization, helping you prepare chronologies, and go through investigative research. For some other tools, you have ClearBrief. There are tools like this that are Word add-ons. That means it can be a Word plugin. And so if you're already using Word, you want something that's to help you live within the systems you're already doing. This can summarize and analyze documents such as depositions, creating timelines, comparing deposition transcripts. This is helpful if you're working on cases like I had where you have dozens of depositions taken over the course of the case and you want to compare who said what. CaseMark is another tool. This can compare depositions. It's particularly known for summarization. It's pretty affordable. It's $25 per summary. And then, as we'll see going forward in other categories, the major legal research companies have been expanding from legal research into knowledge management and also some litigation tools. We'll talk about these a bit more later, but for context, these are tools such as VLX's Vincent AI, Lex Plus AI, and Thomson Reuters Co-Counsel. The next category of where you can use AI for legal applications is smart drafting. This may be a functionality embedded into other categories, such as we saw with the practice management, if you want to draft responses to your client queries, or if you want standalone tools, you can look at ones such as DraftWise Markup. This is really known for helping with transactional work. So as we know, transactional work is very precedent driven, and this is a smart drafting product that works by leveraging your past work product to obtain drafting recommendations based on comparing it to similar contracts. So this is very helpful if you want to have similar precedent for cases for what you're reviewing, if you want to see red lines that are most relevant for your deal at hand, if you want to see, based on your past history of contracts that you upload to it, how has your firm negotiated this type of agreement before? So this is a great smart drafting tool. If we're looking at the category of AI documentation, this is another one that is very quickly expanding. To give you some context, if you have not done document automation yet, this is a fast growing area that a lot of lawyers, particularly those who are moving towards flat fees, are finding very helpful. What you can do is you start with a few documents that you use over and over. Pick a common document for your practice area, and then you start to code it with some fields and then with where you can automate it. Tools specifically for this within legal include Clio Draft, which is from when they bought LaYa. So this is a document automation and e-signature platform for legal. How it works is you populate your documents with your client information from within Clio to create, using those templates to create these documents and then send them off to your client for e-signature. So again, like our first category of practice management tools, the more you can have your data live in one centralized place, the more helpful it is going to be for you to really take advantage of these tools' capabilities so that way they have information to draw from. Another tool is Woodpecker. This one has been integrated with MyCase, very helpful for using that practice management system. And this helps you automate your drafting of standard legal documents. If you want another standalone tool for document automation, there's Joseph Legal. Gavel's another one. So if you're having documents that you're creating over and over, whether they be property sale documents, service documents, whatever it may be, I would say document automation is a great area to explore. Again, if you're not sure where to get started with this, you can do a free confidential consult with people like me at LCL, and we can go over your particular scenario. The next category we have is for AI legal research. And this is expanding from what was just legal research into bridging into knowledge management, and then bridging, as we saw previewed from Nikki Black's article, into more litigation tools. But let's start with a simpler legal research for first. This one I want to highlight. This is very exciting for Massachusetts. It was built by Massachusetts founders. They were a finalist in the Legal Tech awards that they just won a week ago. It's a great tool, great co-founders. It can search and summarize across, 2 million judicial opinions, free to use. It's great. You can filter by jurisdiction. It uses this natural language processing, so you don't have to hit on the exact terms. They just had an announcement come out yesterday too, saying that they've added on, more capabilities to the product. So if you're looking for a place to start that is just legal research, Describe.ai is a great one, and to support Massachusetts tech founders. If you're looking for some of those bigger name players within legal research, VLEX, they acquired Fastcase, who acquired Casemaker. So many of you are probably familiar with that because whether you're at the Mass Bar Association or Mass Social Law Library, tools like Fastcase and Casemaker were member benefits for a long time. So VLEX has acquired them, and they have added on this AI tool called Vincent. There are a number of skills. We're going to first look at these general skills here, and then we're going to look for how this can help in different stages depending where you're at. So this is not unique to Vincent AI. This can also be for tools like CoCounsel. These are generally your more expensive tools because so robust. What this does is it helps you with case analysis, things, pulling on the legal research underlying data to help you extract the key legal issues. It can auto produce those summarized headnotes. So it's great for that in addition to reviewing and summarizing the documents. This is where it's helpful if you want to find claims, counterclaims, defenses. I've seen demos of this. It's very impressive what can pull up in a few minutes. And also, you can search databases. This is particularly helpful if you are practicing in multiple jurisdictions because it can analyze in both English and Spanish and pull from 32 countries. So again, legal research that expands to knowledge management. If you are a litigator, some particular skills of tools, legal research knowledge management tools such as AI Vincent, that would be helpful for you, including being able to ask a research question and have it draft a research memo to answer your questions. If you want to analyze a deposition, this is more robust from when we looked at those deposition tools, which were generally more standalone, most of them for depositions. This again is rolled in with a number of functionalities, but it has similar functionalities to the deposition review tools in that you can summarize the document, you can extract the key facts, can help you identify follow-up questions, can give you ideas for objections, help you build timelines, things that are very helpful, particularly being in the moment. If you want to help you build an argument or analyze a complaint, again, this can extract claims, facts, timelines. It can create questionnaires, itemize available defenses. These are very robust tools that if you're a litigator and you think, oh, I really need some more legal research help, I don't have the capability right now to hire someone else, you might want to look for a tool like this. If you are a litigator that goes to trial a lot, I will note that tools such as Vincent AI have a number of functionalities and skills which are particularly helpful for trial prep, such as finding related authorities, analyzing complaints, comparing law in different jurisdictions. If you are a transactional attorney, there's also a number of skills within tools such as these. If you want to analyze a contract, if you want to do things such as creating closing checklists, flagging, particular language, uh, you can catalog post-closing obligations. If you have a contract that has a number of follow-up obligations, tools like this can be very helpful. It can help you with red line analysis, comparing documents, so many different skills. There are also a number of legal assistants. These are going down to ones that are a bit more affordable again. So there's ones like LawDroid Copilot. It has the AI assistant if you want to help draft correspondence, summarize documents. If you want to build your own tool, it has tools like LawDroid Builder. If you're an immigration lawyer, there's tools like sandbox.law. There's also Jen from Visa Law AI, which just won the Legal Tech Awards last week for Best AI Tool. So there's a number of things which can be particular for practice area. Going back to the idea of legal research and knowledge management, a tool that is similar to VLEX's Vincent is Thomson Reuters Case Text Co-Counsel. I will note the reason that these tools are so expensive is because they were incredibly robust and often they were acquired from these larger companies for large sums of money. But they do have great skills such as reviewing documents, helping you prepare for depositions, searching database, whether it's your own uploaded documents or legal documents that you put in, can help you with those timelines, those chronologies, can help you summarize if you're looking to condense or to interpret, and it can also help you with contract analysis. So, I know that was a lot of information. That is an overview of the different categories of where AI is fitting into legal right now. To put it back in context, people are typically using AI for some of these sorts of roles to help them generate ideas, to help them summarize information, to help change tone. But this is just the tip of the iceberg for the capabilities. You want to embrace learning about AI. So I would suggest playing around with tools, a few hours a week if you're very busy, even just 1 hour a week. I will note to remember to use the right tool for the job. For example, you don't want to use general generative AI for legal research if it does not have underlying legal research that it's going to point to. Otherwise, you're going to really risk those hallucinations. You want to be careful ethically to not include personally identifiable information or client identifying information, particularly if it's an open system as opposed to a closed system. Closed systems are ones such as your practice management systems with AI. If you want a place to start, you can have ideas for marketing your blog drafts, drafting initial drafts to your client, helping you first round summarize documents, query your own documents and information in your document system, initial contract analysis. There's so many different ways that you can use these tools for legal applications. I would encourage you to adopt the mindset of continuous development. So you want to embrace your curiosity and recognize that these new features and functionalities are ways to help you practice better. So just as the legal industry moved on from typewriters and paper-only document review, this is going to change legal, but it's really going to help you be more effective. If you want some websites to learn more about AI, again, you can schedule a consult with me, or you can look on some of these websites for more learning about how AI works. I will note too that there are futurists, such as Jordan Furlong, who see that as the legal industry changes, the lawyer, as you're going to have these tools to help you with certain jobs and certain tasks, you will be able to more move into roles such as advocating for your clients, advising, accompanying. So this is going to stay with legal. There's many law schools that are teaching AI classes on Gen AI right now. Georgetown alone has 17 this semester. And I will note that the most widely read legal blog in the country tells about how the legal industry is really becoming consumed with generative AI. So your takeaways, and before we get to questions, which again, I welcome both now and later, AI is transforming the legal industry. We can't put all heads in the sand. It's going to supplement and enhance legal professionals' capabilities. Those who use it are said to have a competitive edge. There's many practical applications, including summarization, helping you with legal research, helping you review documents, if you want analysis, drafting, and more. And you want to think of that generative AI like a tireless legal intern. It's great for initial drafts, great for generating ideas, but you need to check over it before submitting anything and sending. So we will get now to the questions. I am so glad to have you all here, both those live and those who will be watching on demand. And Amy, I see we have a question in Q&A. I've not gotten to it yet. Let's see. Okay. Our
So first of all, I just want to say, Laura, amazing. I mean, so much information. Again, this amazing takeaways. So I learned a lot and I appreciate it. So I do want to get to some questions. And the first one asks to have AI help you to have to use specific programs and use a specific calendar, or do you give it access to your computer, an iPhone calendar? Do people write out what are the next things to do on a matter somewhere?
So let me see if I can parse through this. So it depends on how the AI application works. So the ones, for instance, that query information off your calendar, you are going to you have full control, first of all, on what you give these programs access to. It is not going to go in and access your Outlook or your Gmail calendar, your iPhone calendar. It is usually going to be synced into a particular system. So for instance, if you are using a law practice management system, you have a calendar within there, sometimes within the tool itself, sometimes synced to your work Outlook calendar, but you would already have the permission set that it could pull from there. This is not going to be something to, just pull from your phone calendar or something if you don't want it to. So most of these tools are going to be embedded within other tools. There are some like Word plugins or Outlook plugins, but for the most part, they're going to be within tools that you may already subscribe to for your law practice. Things like your case management system, things like your legal research provider. So I will say that it depends on the system at large, but you have to specifically give it access to those. And then do people write out where the next thing to do in a matter? Okay, so this I think referred back to that it gives you an idea for matters for the week. So how this works is within the case management, the practice management system, you have your case management and you have your tasks written out on your calendar for the week. That is embedded within the practice management system. Let me go back to that one if I can. And so this will help you with, let's see here. We had a screenshot. Might not. Okay. Um, anyway, this will help you if you want to question your priorities for the week ahead. So it will look at your practice management system, it will look at your calendar, it will look at your tasks and say these are the matters which are related to things that you have going on. But again, this is typically if you have it within a practice management system, ones like Clio, like Smokeball, etc., is how that works. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have more questions on that, please let me know too.
And I do want to, and I know you've said this, we will be providing this presentation directly to folks. So there was so much information. I'm sure people are going to refer back to it.
Yeah.
Something that stuck out to me was one, there's so many different opportunities out there right now, and it just seemed like all of a sudden was an explosion, at least from my perspective.
Mhm.
Um, but I also wanted to point out what I found interesting is that it doesn't sound like there are tons of law schools out there offering these classes. You named a few, and there probably are more, but do you have any thoughts in terms of why that might be that they're not incorporating it just yet into the classroom?
I think a lot of law schools are sort of trying to see where AI goes. The problem is that this is going to be like law firms in general. Wait too long on the sidelines to try to observe, is this really being picked up? How is everybody else doing it? Then you may really fall far behind on the adoption curve. The schools that are starting with it, those tend to be the schools with more tech forward programs. A number of them have law practice concentrations within them. Within the Massachusetts area, there are a number of great tech forward schools, such as Suffolk, Harvard, Western New England. They all have tech specific classes that they teach, but part of it too is you need the professors to be able to teach there. So, like, I know one law professor, he teaches three AI classes, and he is contracted out by a number of law schools because he's one of the ones top in his field. So that may be also part of the supply and the demand right now, that they're all finding
Mm,
professors who really understand this. And others may have deans who are a little bit hesitant. But I think as we go forward, just as we've seen how there's been an explosion of tools coming to market, I think by this time next year, we'll probably have triple that amount of law schools that are offering the AI classes.
wow. Yeah, that makes sense, right? If there are limited professors or people that can teach that, um, probably a little competition there too, trying to get those folks. But one of the things that you also mentioned in previous presentations is that it's still a matter of um, trust but verify.
Mhm.
And there's still going to be that extra work just to, again, verify this information. And, one of the things that you also mentioned was embracing the technology.
Mhm.
People can be fearful of change and things that are new, but you made the suggestion of play around with it. And this was something also Luz had mentioned in our previous presentations. Have fun, play around, start with something a little bit more personal, and enjoy it. One of the things you mentioned, which I'm certainly going to do, is planning meals and taking a picture. You actually said take a picture of your fridge and then
Mhm.
it can develop a meal from that. That's amazing to me. Um, so anyway, again, I know that there's that fear of change and that this is something, as you said, you know, it's happening and you need to embrace it, or you can be left behind. Um, so again, amazing takeaways, great specific information, concrete information, and so many tools out there. I noticed also there was such a range in pricing.
Mhm.
Um, sometimes people think, well, if it costs less, maybe it's not as good. Do you have any thoughts um, on some of those softwares that are more expensive, less expensive? Do you think that pricing indicates anything?
I don't think that if it's less expensive or more expensive, it necessarily means it's better or worse. Generally, the tools that are more expensive are those that are offered by the really sort of premium uh, legal tools out there. They're offered by the Lexis, the Thomson
Mm,
Reuters, and oftentimes too, in part why they have to charge so much is because they have acquired these tools for so much, such as we saw when Thomson Reuters
mm,
acquired case text co-counsel, broke legal headlines because they paid $650 million for it. It's a fantastic tool, and they've added on so many more skills since then, but in part because Thomson Reuters is such a flagship name and because this tool was really such a expensive acquisition, it is going to be costing more than those that are more in the startup phase. There's also tools that are targeted to different parts of the market. Some are targeted for more solo and small firm, some are more mid firm or large firm. So that will depend too. And those that are standalone tools tend to be less expensive than those that are more all in one robust tools. So ones like the Vincent AI, the CoCounsel, those are incredibly robust tools, and that's why they're going to cost a couple $100 per month, is
mm,
because you're not just having the deposition review and the summary transcript, you're also having those, generating the timeline, the claims, everything else, versus if you want something like a legal editing and site write tool, excellent functionalities, but it's really limited to that sort of scope as more standalone. And that's why you're going to be able to find those tools for like $30, $50 per month, just because it's a different scope of tools that the product can offer.
mhm. Thank you for that. And related to it, my the service that comes to mind is Netflix. So Netflix, you pay a monthly fee, but you can cancel at any time and then restart it. Is that similar for some of these that have a monthly fee? Can you cancel your subscription and then restart it to your knowledge? I'm sure everyone could be a little bit different, but do they have that type of model?
So they all are a little different. You want to make sure before you sign up, they really understand what you're getting into. You also want to understand the tiers because sometimes when you talk to
Mm,
marketing folks at these companies, they'll say, yes, it can do all of these functionalities. But if you're getting, say, the essentials tier as opposed to the pro tier, you're going to have a different scope for what you're paying for. So that is first. You want to understand what that is. Second, one thing that has been a positive, more of these tools are moving towards a month to month model that you don't have to have a year long or multi-year long contract. For example, a lot of tools it used to be you'd have to have 2 or 3 year contracts. Uh,
mm,
I will note though that if you do the month to month option, that is going to be more per month than it would be that if you paid for annual. So there is that benefit if you don't want to commit, but it's also going to be more on the per month basis.
excellent. Very, very helpful. Um, And if folks have any other questions, please jump in. I know there is a lot of information to take in. Um, And while we're waiting, I am curious if there is a tool, and what tool you might recommend, that could evaluate and rate and talk about pros and cons of these tools. So, again, because again, LCL doesn't want to necessarily endorse certain ones. We want to maintain a neutral stance. Again, talk about the pros and cons, but I'm wondering if there is a search to do that, an AI tool that can rate and like a consumer reports, if you will.
I would say there is not for legal product tools. If you're
Mm,
looking for consumer products, there's a tool, it's a startup called vetted.ai that if you're looking for things like baking pans or something that is very tangible, easily compared apples to apples across products, that's an AI tool that can help if you want to say, like, what is the most, durable carry-on luggage, that can give some great suggestions. There's not a tool like that for legal AI. I would also be skeptical if there was going to be one because how
mm,
AI works is it draws from underlying data, and the underlying data it would be drawing from is probably press releases, marketing reports, which can sometimes often have spin in them. So this is why you want to go talk to somebody that really understands the field, somebody like we have at LCL, and that way we can help you parse through and say, okay, these are your needs. This is your budget. This is your priority. These are the systems you already use. So let's look at the systems you're using. Are you making the most of them now? What is going to integrate with them rather than just going for the marketing that says, this is the best new tool? Because a lot of them in the press releases try to say they're the best. They try to say
mm,
first to do something. That's not always true. Um, so there is not a tool to compare it like there is for consumer products, but there are resources you can come to. If you want to a directory, there's also Law Next is a directory put out by Bob and Brogy that has information about the tools about a category. I will note that there's a caveat that the companies themselves submit what the functionalities are and the self descriptions for the category. So sometimes, again, depending on how their marketing team is, they may be trying to over embellish into what they're going towards, but they don't actually have features out for yet, which is something
mm.
that people like Luz and I are very more cautious with in keeping up with the industry.
Excellent. So what it also sounds like is, again, making the call to you or lose, to help be a sounding board and evaluate what is going to fit best for what the person's need is and the cost. And again, help them figure it out, what is best for them.
Exactly.
So again, amazing information. I learned quite a bit, and I'm going to actually be using some of these, especially for consumer rankings on products. Um, if anybody does have additional questions, again, as Laura mentioned, you can reach out to her via email and scheduling a consultation with Laura or Luz. You can go to our website, lclma.org, and set up some time. So we are really at the end of the hour. We know that folks are very busy. So again, Laura, amazing information. Just I don't know how you do it, and again, combine all of that information and be able to share it. So thank you all for joining us. And as a reminder, please review our previous presentations on AI. Both Luz and Laura have done presentations on ethics, and everything has been recorded, and you can find that on our digital library on our website.
I just want to add a couple things too. If you have not used LCL services before, call back to what Amy said. If you are a Massachusetts legal professional, whether you live in Massachusetts or you practice in Massachusetts, but maybe you live in another state or you're a law student here, this is a free and confidential service for you. So don't feel don't hesitate to reach out to us. The other thing is, this is the end of our pre-scheduled AI series, but we know that AI is ever evolving. So we want to hear feedback from you on, do you want follow-ups on a particular practice area, a particular tool? We love feedback, and then we can use it for programming going forward too.
Excellent. Excellent. So yes, we do provide a feedback form after the presentation. So use it as an opportunity to write in any ideas that you have for future presentations in general, but also specifically on AI.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you,
Thank
attendee.
you.
Appreciate
All
your
right.
your time and attendance so much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.